Good evening and welcome to our event. Thank you for joining us for tonight's Healing Perspectives Qigong workshop with Dr. Cynthia Li. My name is Dr. Akil Palanisamy, and I'm a physician at Sutter's Institute for Health and Healing in Sacramento. So many of you attended last week's event, Relieving Anxiety in Times of Change. If you missed the lecture, you can watch it on our YouTube channel. The link will be posted in the chat box, and it will include closed captioning. Today's workshop does not include closed captioning, but it will be posted on YouTube by next Tuesday, and the replay with that video on YouTube will have closed captioning. So as you remember, last week, Dr. Li talked about 3 topics: ask new questions, inhabit your body, and how to survive grief and loss. Today, we're going to focus on the second aspect, inhabit your body, using Qigong practices. So we've made a change in today's format to allow more time for learning. We'll be practicing the Qigong movements for about 30 minutes, and then we're going to extend the workshop for a 15-minute Q&A after the Qigong session. So please post your questions in the Q&A throughout the talk as you think of them. We'll come back to the questions at the end. So this talk is sponsored by the Institute for Health and Healing, and we offer integrative medicine clinical care that combines the best of conventional medicine with proven healing practices from around the world that serve the whole person. We have integrative medical clinics located in San Francisco, Santa Rosa, Roseville, and San Carlos that offer services such as integrative physician care, psychotherapy, acupuncture, nutrition, chiropractic, and massage therapy. Many of our services are covered by insurance. This Healing Perspectives events series features clinical experts teaching practical approaches to well-being that blend conventional and holistic medicine. Now, it's my pleasure to introduce our speaker, Dr. Cynthia Li. She practiced internal medicine in settings as diverse as Kaiser Permanente, San Francisco General Hospital, St. Anthony's Medical Clinic for the Homeless, and Doctors Without Borders in rural China. Dr. Li has a private practice in Berkeley, California, but unfortunately, she's not taking new patients at this time, which I was very disappointed to hear, but she's so popular. Many of you heard last week about her personal healing journey through disabling autoimmune conditions. It took her from conventional medicine into integrative and functional medicine, which is described in her best-selling book, Brave New Medicine. A foundational healing approach for her was Wisdom Healing Qigong, which Dr. Li now practices twice a day, every day. So now it's my honor to welcome Dr. Cynthia Li.
Thank you so much, Akil. And I want to thank the Institute for Health and Healing at Sutter for having me back after last week's lecture. And as Akil mentioned, we will go deeper into Qigong today. Qigong being a moving meditation, or sometimes called an embodied consciousness practice, that arose from ancient China and has become a fast-growing field in integrative medicine today. Qigong has many different lineages, and the one that I have been studying and practicing for 8 years is called Zhineng Qigong, or translated into Wisdom Healing Qigong. So when I use the term Qigong, I'm referring to this specific lineage, as different lineages have different teachings. For those who were not able to join the public lecture last week, I'm going to start off just with a quick recap on the importance of the mind-body connection, not just in easing anxiety, but for healing of any kind, and healing at every level: mental, emotional, physical, as well as spiritual. And after the introductory slides, I will be guiding us in some simple but profound movements. And as you will come to experience, hopefully firsthand, simple does not always mean easy, and simple does not mean lack of profound healing capacity. Oops. All right, so while many of us think of exercise or any kind of movement as inhabiting our bodies, our minds are often thousands of miles away, or we're often focused on something in the near or distant future, or also in the past. And so really learning to distinguish between what does it really mean to inhabit the body versus using our bodies. And something shifts when we bring our minds back into our bodies. And in a little bit, we will experience this. In Qigong, we say, where the mind goes, Qi follows, or Qi flows, right? Last week, I showed scientific studies on the multiple benefits of reconnecting the mind and the body. Things like improving immune function, more balanced moods, increased energy, bone and heart health, and more. When we think of the body, we usually think of the physical body in terms of concrete tissues and organs. And beyond the concrete organs that we can feel and touch and see, the body is also 60 to 70% water, right? This is the cell membrane making up the spaces between these lipid molecules and also filling the channels, and being inside and outside the cell membrane is water, right? Our cells are more than 70% water, and basically this makes us water bodies in addition to the tissues that we think of. Our bodies also follow fundamental laws of nature, right? One of them is being the simple cycle of filling and emptying, right? We eat, digest, absorb, and then we empty ourselves through stool, urine, sweat, and other mechanisms. We also fill and empty ourselves each time we breathe, right? And each time our heart beats, we are filling with blood and then emptying of that blood. Even parts of our bodies that feel solid and hard, like bone, are living organs that are filling and emptying. We have the osteoblasts down here that are filling in and building new bone. We have osteoclasts that are always breaking down. And then beyond the visible body, we have parts of our bodies that are much more subtle, or what I call the invisible body. Scientists have now discovered that all living organisms have bioluminescence, including us human beings. That means we glow. All right, this light is 1,000 times below what our eyes can detect. So in addition to being water bodies, we are light bodies, right? This was just an experiment done in Japan on young, healthy adults, not long-term meditators, but they measured this bioluminescence. And these scans here showed this is not thermal, this is not heat, this is light. All right, and the light actually expands and contracts on a circadian rhythm. And I'm introducing all of these different properties because in Qigong, we connect to and activate all of these dimensions when we talk about the body. So the deeper we go into our whole sense of ourselves, the deeper and the faster the healing can happen. So these subtle energies are not just within us, they are around us. Astrophysicists and astronomers, they say, what is 96% of the universe made of? We don't know. Actually, the mystery substances have been named dark energy and dark matter. All right. And subtle in this sense does not mean weak. It means beyond our capacity to detect, means basically beyond space, time, and concept. Another concept we tap into a lot in Qigong has to do with states of being. In medicine and in life, we often think of two states, right? We do whatever we can to stay comfortable and to avoid discomfort, right? Nothing wrong with comfort. We all love comfort. But in terms of healing, there's not a lot of energy moving in the state of comfort or total relaxation. So in Qigong, we learn to cultivate a third state, and that is the state of flow. And this is not just a mental or an emotional state, it is a physical state that can be felt at every level of being, and the physical, the solid tissue, the water body, and the energy body. And in the flow state, we talked about this a little bit last week, we begin to organize the energy, right? From turbulent to order, from chaos to healing, right? This was a slide from last week showing that the turbulent energy patterns, right, of frustration, anxiety, irritation, right, from the mind and the heart, and if we can shift it into coherent, smooth patterns of compassion and calm, that these are the states in which healing happens, and happens exponentially to how quickly we can activate these states. So before we begin our Qigong practice, I want to go over some basic ground rules. There's no such thing as I can't. So when you find your mind saying that, that is just one of those old patterns that we try to recondition through the practices. So any practice can be modified as you need to. And also if there is a particular movement that is challenging for you, or if I'm naming a particular body part that you may not have, you can begin to visualize and you can also modify. So if something feels challenging standing up, then everything can be done seated and even reclined. Right? And visualizing has been shown in scientific studies to have very similar benefits to actually doing the movements. The second rule is to mix it up, right? Tough love and gentle love. Another rule of thumb is comfortably challenging. All right, so in order to get into the flow state, sometimes we have to challenge ourselves. Sometimes there's a little bit of discomfort and we move beyond that into the state of flow. Sometimes we actually have to relax our intentions. We have to give ourselves space to be gentle. All right, so you are the captain of your ship, you decide. And the third one I just mentioned was to relax. And we need to not just relax our bodies, we need to relax our minds and also our expectations and our intentions. And this means letting go of any questions that are arising. This means also paradoxically to let go of any of the goals of healing that we might have, right? Simply connecting to our bodies as they are right now and the chi field and to the present moment. All right. Now, during this this practice, I will be standing, but it can be done seated. And also, if you are listening with your earbuds or headphones in, when you're standing, please remove them because we're going to be jiggling a little bit. And then if you prefer to do parts of the practice seated, you can definitely put them back in for your whatever your preference is. All right. Okay, so we're going to begin actually just with a really simple exercise. This is not Qigong. This is an exercise just to help people understand the difference between using the body and inhabiting the body. All right, so I don't know if any of you have a glass of tea or water near you. If you don't, this is a good plug to just say, you know, it's really good to hydrate unless you are on a fluid restricted diet by your physician. Always hydrating and keeping that cycle of filling and emptying going. If you don't have a glass, you can grab any object near you, a pen, anything. Metal would be better just because it has a certain temperature to it. All right. So, all right. So first thing, I just want you to grab the object that you are wanting to grab. Right? Okay, so that's typically right how we use our bodies to do what it is that we would like to do. Now, now I invite you to actually close your eyes, and with that that visual from the previous slide, I want you to just draw your mind back into the center of your head. Just notice the shift with that simple movement. Right now, dropping your mind down into the center of your abdomen. Just giving your mind permission to rest. Right? No thoughts. Right now, allowing the mind to slowly expand and fill your entire body from the inside. Right, including expanding into the arm that you want to move, and down through the forearm, into the palms, into the tips of the little finger from the inside. All right, now very slowly, as if in slow motion, raise the hand with your mind still from the inside. And as you approach the object, you're going to experience every point of contact that you can between your hand and the object, and noting any sensations in the fingertips, in the palm, even along your arm as you raise it up towards you. Right? So that is a taste of inhabiting the body and how it's different. It is an inside-out connection, both to ourselves and to the outer world, which is very different than a very object-directed action, right? So now we're going to do about 20 minutes or so of a practice. Again, it's going to be very simple. And I invite you to stand as you're able. You can do this modified seated as well. All right. Okay, so go ahead and just roll your shoulders back. All right, where we tend to get energy stuck is in the shoulders, in the neck, and in the hips. So we're just going to begin by relaxing the body. Right, you can sway your body a little bit if that feels good. Feet should be roughly shoulder width apart. And if you're seated, also shoulder width apart. All right. All right, and then now we're just going to begin slowly twisting the body from the hips. Right, allowing the arms to just dangle, giving your arms permission to completely be floppy. Right, how often do we allow our arms to do nothing? Right, now you can gently direct your arms up towards the opposite shoulder blade in the back. And the lower arm is hitting gently the small of your back. And again, initiating as much of the movement from your hips as possible. All right, now slowly bringing the arms down again. And one thing, we talked last week a lot about anxiety. So if we're in acute states of panic or stress or anger, we can begin to actually increase the movement, right? So just go ahead and rotate a little bit more quickly. And again, allowing the arms to be as floppy as possible. And faster, 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 faster. All right, and then stop very suddenly. And just notice the energy moving through the body. Any sensations? Okay. All right, and then before we go into the next practice, again, just recentering, drawing the mind back into the center of your head. Right. Dropping your mind down into the center of your abdomen, just connecting to your core. Just notice any lingering sensations from that simple relaxation movement. All right, now we're going to just gently raise up the arms. Allowing them to float up if you can, above the head. This is lifting chi up, and then bringing the hands down towards the crown of the head. Right, simple movement. All right, now you can go ahead and add a little squat if you are standing, lifting chi up and pouring chi down. All right, now this is the simple act of we're filling, right? We're filling up our bodies with fresh energy. And as we pour it through our central channel, we're also emptying, releasing anything that doesn't serve our highest and best purpose. Right? So again, we can play with different rhythms of this, right? Let's say you've just seen a patient or a client, you've just had an intense encounter with a family member, with a friend, maybe a stranger, and you've got some releasing to do. You can increase the pace, right? And just feeling that with each scoop, you're offering up back to the earth, back to the sky, whatever doesn't serve your highest and best purpose. And you're bringing in fresh chi down throughout your whole system. We like to call this like a chi shower, right? A chi waterfall. All right, let's just do it one more time. And just very slowly scanning the body as you come down. Right. Now hands by the side, and the neutral position in Qigong is with the crown of the head up towards the sky. All right, so the chin is not up, the chin is slightly tucked down. If you have hair, you can grab a lock from the top and just gently raise it just to get the feeling of that sensation. All right. The tailbone is slightly tucked under, so the tip of the tailbone is as if it's directed towards the earth. Right? The armpits are slightly open. You can put a little fist under there just to get a feeling for that. And then the hands are slightly cupped, right? Like we're holding a chi ball. And actually the thumb and the index finger are active like this. We call it the tiger mouth. There's a lot of energy that's flowing between there, all right? So this is the active stance. So if any time you're feeling, woo, there's a lot of stuff coming up and moving, and you want to chill out, it's time to relax a little bit, come back to an active posture, right? And you can kind of just relax your posture and see what it's like when we normally stand, you know, kind of just passively, right? There's not a lot of energy moving. Stand back in the active stance, and all of a sudden, we feel more energized, right? So I invite you to gently close your eyes as you're able to, and just visualize an invisible cord connecting you at the crown of your head, right? So it's as if you're dangling from the sky from this cord. So your posture is tall, and just gently start swaying. It's as if the cord is moving you slightly back and forth, just a few inches, very subtly. You just connect to your body as water. Right? It's flowing, moving back and forth, almost like a piece of kelp. Just moving. Just notice the lightness in your body. Now shifting your awareness to the soles of your feet and how firmly planted they are on the earth, on the floor. Right, so in Qigong, we're often experiencing simultaneously sort of paradoxical, sort of yin-yang complementary movements and rhythms. And so in this one, both the movement, the continuous wave, as well as stillness, the stillness of our feet. They're not going anywhere. Right? And sometimes you can imagine, like if life is kind of tossing you around a little bit, right? You can even mimic that if you want, right? We're getting tousled around by life, by all the stuff happening in the world. We can just gently redirect our awareness to our feet. Like, yes, I'm being moved, but I can relax to that movement. And I know also how to stay planted, how to be still. All right, now go ahead and just bring the swaying to a stop. You can gently raise your hands to just in front of your navel. This movement is called La Qi. It is translated into pulling qi, right? Very simple. And just begin by opening the hands, just about a few inches, not a lot, and then bringing them back together, not touching. Just visualizing a ball of light between the palms. And again, the fingers are slightly spread out, right? Index finger and thumb are in the shape of the tiger mouth. Sometimes we describe this chi ball as like a delicate web, right? So you want to expand so that you don't break the threads. And then as we close, you're feeling a slight condensation of that energy. All right, and again, we often begin by moving the hands, by moving the most external part of our bodies. Now I invite you to initiate the movement with your elbows. So keeping the hands in the shape of a ball, but initiating the movement from the elbows. Just notice how different that feels, that simple shift. Everything from the outside might look the same, but the internal experience is different. And so initiating from the elbows, it gives us a little bit of that wave pattern, experiencing ourselves a little bit more like water. And also keeping the mind aware of the sensations between the palms. Right, and now I'm going to invite you to experience yourself as chi, right, as the subtle energy. Our body is made of atoms, and atoms are 99.999 something percent space. But we know now, science has confirmed what Qigong masters have sensed for a long time, that the space is not a void. Right? It is subtle energy. It's this dark energy, this dark matter. So see if you can experience your arms, your hands as weightless, as chi. Just floating, open and close. And being aware that your mind is the commander. You have agency over every movement that you make. And you have agency over how you experience your body. All right, now go ahead and bring your hands together and again, keeping a little bit of a space between your armpits. And I invite you to take your right hand, just the index and third finger, middle finger, and just gently, without touching your left palm, just drawing little spirals. Now, some of you are going to be able to feel that right away. It took me a while. Some of you, it might take some practice. But for those of you who can feel that, that is qi. Right? That's the subtle energy that is emanating from your hands and your fingers. Right? So anytime we have experiences like that, it sort of reinforces our practice. Right? So hands back in front of the navel, and just inviting you to lift it up to the chest level. Right? And now you can turn your palms towards the heart. Right? And just opening again. We're going to open. Right? We're going to merge with all that is around us. And then close. Bringing in fresh energy to our heart center. And again, sometimes you might not feel ready to open up all the way, right? We're opening our hearts, connecting. There's about 1,000 of us practicing live right now, connecting with an intention of love and healing. What does it feel like to open your heart to this field? And if it feels safer to just, you know what, keep it a little bit closer, that's fine. You decide what feels right for you. And with this simple movement, we can begin to just monitor ourselves too, observe. I don't quite have the courage for that. As we begin to open up and to trust, we open up to compassion and to courage. Just noticing how that feels to connect. You can visualize 1,000 bodies of light doing this same movement. Right? We're kind of breathing together with our hands, with our bodies. All right, one more time, just bringing it back to the center. Right, and back down. And we'll just finish up the practice with 3 lift chi up, pour chi downs. Right? Going ahead and raising the hands above the head, bringing it down through the center. And as we come down the body, we're just going to give our body gratitude, right? To the eyes, to the nose, mouth, ears, gratitude to our throat, our voice, our lungs, the heart, diaphragm, our detox organs, our digestive system, our sexual reproductive organs. Right, a couple more times. Just visualizing every cell, right? The tens of trillions of cells, all vibrating with light, vibrating with vitality. One last time. Just giving yourself that chi bath, that standing under the chi waterfall. And then we always finish the practice by bringing that energy into the center where we can ground it, right? The stronger our chi in the middle of our abdomen, the stronger our physical body and vitality. All right. So the thing with Qigong is we never know where things are going to go and how far we're going to get in the practices. So it's part of letting go of the intention. All right. So can we pull up the slides one more time? Thank you. So I would just like to, invite you to participate in the chat box. Just noting, maybe in 2 or 3 words, not more, maybe one. What sensations do you notice within yourself? You can take a moment. Or what sensations do you notice in relationship to your surroundings or to the collective? Beautiful. Connected, tingling, magnetism, heart-centered, buzzing, calmness, light, my body is breath, serenity, beautiful, tickling, I like that, openness, aching feet, yeah. Right, thank you all. So it's beautiful to see. I mean, something so simple, it can be so profound and really transformative in just 20 minutes. So this is just just a drop in the ocean of what this practice is and the way in which it can really begin to transform not just our health, but our lives around it. Intense energy flow. I just wanted to read that one. So yeah, like I said, simple can be incredibly profound. All right. So I'll just wrap up by saying that, and this is a point that I made last week, was just how we respond to our bodies is how we respond to the world, right? So we are going to actually experience things that are uncomfortable, or maybe we experience new areas of openness, but we begin to experience the world in a very similar way. We begin to mirror our experience in the world. And I just wanted to close by giving gratitude to my teachers in the lineage of Zhineng Qigong before I turn it over to Akil. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Li, for an amazing presentation. So we're going to take a few extra minutes for questions. So I invite everyone to submit your questions in the Q&A box, and whatever you feel like asking, please submit. And Dr. Li, while you were leading us through this, I was just thinking this would have been so helpful and amazing if medical students, had been taught this. I was thinking that it would have been so helpful for me during medical training and medical school.
Yeah, absolutely. Huh? Kind of
Yeah.
the opposite in medical school.
Yeah, just the ability of Qigong to help you inhabit your body and be grounded, I think is so important for all of us. But so unfortunately, we've come to the end of our time, but thank you so much, Cynthia. And if you found this workshop beneficial, please join us for our next talk. It's November 4th, and that's a free lecture with my colleague, Dr. Aparna Dandekar, a physician at IHH in San Francisco. And she'll teach you about how to disconnect from the digital world and connect to the natural rhythms of your body, and talk all about Ayurveda, which is the traditional healing system of medicine from India. So in order to register, you can either scan the QR code on your screen, or we're also going to post the link in the chat box, so you could click on that later. Everyone that attended today will receive a resource email with a link to register for that upcoming lecture, so you don't have to do that now. Just look out for your email later on. And the email will also include today's YouTube recording, and you can share that with family and friends. and we'll also include some of the websites and resources as well. So we are able to offer this event for free thanks to donations, especially from the Roberta E. Newstatter Mini Medical School in Integrative Medicine. And we would appreciate donations of any amount to continue to bring you this Healing Perspectives educational series and to support our healing services, especially for cancer patients. And I'd like to also thank Sutter Bay and Valley Medical Foundations for their support of our clinical work. So today you've learned all about an integrative perspective on health. And if you'd like to learn about an integrative perspective on your own health, please give us a call or visit the IHH website, which is myhealthandhealing.org. So thank you so much for attending today, and you will immediately receive a survey once you leave the lecture. We do read all the surveys, so definitely give us your feedback. Let us know what you think. Thank you so much for joining. I hope to see you all on November 4th for Dr. Aparna Dandikar's lecture, which is entitled, Is Tech Invading Your Life? Try Ayurveda. And Ayurveda is one of my favorite topics, so I'm really looking forward to her talk. So have a great evening and hope to see you again soon.